Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to Dakota High School. I'm Brad Fetters, joined by my broadcast partner, Adam Abraham, as we come to you tonight from Dakota High School as we get set to call the action tonight in girls varsity basketball. A MAC Red matchup between the Dakota Cougars and the Grosse Pointe Norsemen. And Adam, we started our coverage tonight with the Grosse Pointe North squad, a team that really competed well in the MAC Red a season ago.
Yes, undefeated in the MAC Red last season, lost in the regional final, but finished the season 20-4. A very impressive team that has graduated 8 seniors from that last year's team. This year they only have 2 senior leaders, but their leader really on the court is Maddie Kohler. She's the point guard. She's a junior. She'll be a 4-year varsity starter when it's all said and done for the Norsemen, and she's really the player to watch out for Grosse Pointe North.
Defending that MAC Red championship will begin tonight. It is a league game, and this Dakota Cougar squad comes in a perfect 3-0, and really it's been their offense that's been the story thus far.
Leading the MAC at over 60 points a game, and it's really on the back of Cam Grant. She's the leader. She's going to Ball State next year to play down at Ball State, averaging a double-double a game, but they are deep all the way around. A lot of scoring options for the Cougars.
It should be an outstanding opener to the MAC Red season. We can't wait to call the action here tonight. Starting lineups and opening tip coming up next right here in Macomb Township Government Access.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back to Dakota High School. Brad Fetters alongside Adam Abraham for MTGA. Let's quickly meet tonight's starters. First for the visitors, Grosse Pointe North. Number 4, junior captain Madeline Kohler. Number 14, junior Meadow Vinay. Number 40, Annabelle Arolt. Number 42, Sophia Borowski. And number 44, senior captain Christina Breaker. Grosse Pointe North is coached by Gary Bennett. And for the home team, the Dakota Cougars, they line up this way. Number 11, Ella Berger. Number 15, junior captain Jamie Mashenko. Number 22, senior captain Cameron Grant. Number 31, Tamia Townsell. And number 54, senior captain Dina Moyer. And it will be Moyer and Breaker to tip things off at center court. Dakota in those home whites, Grosse Pointe North, clad in green with gold numerals and trim along the shoulders and down the shorts. Tip goes deep into the Grosse Pointe North backcourt where it's controlled by Madeline Kohler. Kohler, the junior point guard, a player to pay attention to tonight. You already pointed that out to our viewers, Adam. She's a good one.
Yeah, she's a point guard. She'll control the tempo of the game, but she can do some scoring of her own.
Arolt catching the ball right along the midcourt line. Good pressure defense being applied right now by the Cougars. As a Norseman looking to go inside. Pass intercepted. Going the other way is Berger. Berger puts on the moves. Can't finish. Offensive rebound controlled momentarily by Tamia Townsell. It's tied up. Possession arrow favors the Cougars, so they'll retain possession with 7:24 remaining in the first quarter.
pretty move on that last possession by Ella Berger. Just a sophomore, but she's a scorer at the guard position and coming up through Phil McCune's program. Definitely a threat out there, even as a young sophomore.
Tap away by Grosse Pointe North. Borowski on the steal. Here comes the Norsemen now in transition into their half-court offense. Opening game of the MAC Red schedule. We mentioned Grosse Pointe North comes in with a 4-up, 1-down record. As that jumper goes, first bucket of the night belongs to North, and it's Christina Breaker.
There's going to be the difference in the pace of play for these two teams. The Cougars leading the MAC Red in scoring. They're a run-and-gun offense. Grosse Pointe North, the top defensive team so far this season in the short MAC Red season.
So definitely a contrast in styles as Cameron Grant's jumper off the front iron in transition. Grosse Pointe North gets the AZ lane. It's Madeline Kohler. Grosse Pointe North out to a 4-0 lead.
Well, not necessarily a up-tempo offense. It's definitely something you want to do is get out in transition, and that's what good defense creates.
Another steal, this time Annabelle Arolt, one of 2 freshmen in the starting lineup for North here tonight. Sophia Borowski, the other freshman in Gary Bennett's starting lineup. So Dakota now applying a little bit of full court pressure, looking to turn over Grosse Pointe North. Norseman out to an early 4-0 lead. Annabelle Arolt will trigger things in. Madeline Kohler already with a bucket in tonight's game. Gets it right back and will take it over the timeline. She has it between the circles, goes to her left, gets cut off there, so she will defer. Arolt cuts to the hoop, gets swatted away by Cameron Grant.
There you go, senior on freshman right there. Cameron Grant says, welcome to the MAC Red freshman.
Berger with the ball fake, goes inside to Grant. Grant gets tied up and fouled inside. That'll be North's first team foul. Both teams now have 1 apiece.
After an ugly win to start off the season for Gary Bennett's Norsemen at River Rouge, he talked about how this is a talented team, but they're mentally and physically weak, and there you see Cameron Grant just working her way down low.
And a near steal right at the half-court line, a very physical-looking play. We got a tie-up now as Dina Moyer hit the deck, and she got fouled. She had possession of the basketball. Gary Bennett's not so sure about that call.
And there again, you see the physical toughness of this mature Dakota team. You see bodies dive right on the floor, whereas the Norsemen, much younger, not so quick to go get that loose ball.
Grant inside, takes a little bit of a body, gets pushed off the basketball, no call. So
nothing going. A couple good looks for Cameron Grant to start off in the half-court set for the Dakota Cougars, and has trouble. Lost on just about every ball that's been down there, but she's very aggressive to start this game off.
3-minute scoring drought for Dakota to start this basketball game. Another deflection down low and a tie-up. Possession arrow staying with Grosse Pointe North. In our last broadcast of the Dakota girls team, we talked about even when Cameron Grant's not getting block shots, she's altering possession. She's getting involved defensively and making things very difficult for any player that's trying to drive the lane.
And she's now on her 3rd defensive assignment down low and just pushing bodies around. Absolutely owns the paint in that middle of that zone defense.
Far side looking to go inside to Christina Breaker. Outside, 15-footer blocked this time by Ella Berger, but North able to get the basketball right back.
A clear size and height advantage for Dakota. Bigger at every position across the board than the Norsemen. 3 early block shots defensively and just eating up the Norsemen right now in this half-court set.
Pass comes into the corner. That's a dangerous spot for the basketball. And the Bermuda Triangle where possessions go to die, and it'll be Meadow Vinay turning the ball over.
And Vinay just nowhere to go. Tried to turn baseline, and Moyer just beat her to the spot and got her to step on the baseline for a turnover. Great defensive stand.
Shanko having a hard time getting it over the timeline. Finally is successful in doing that. Hands off to Ella Berger. Moyer, no good. Cameron Grant able to wipe down the offensive rebound. Loses control of it momentarily. Ball's loose, tied up once again. Christina Breaker inside. Jump ball will stay with Dakota on the alternating possession arrow. About halfway through this opening quarter of play, Grosse Pointe North out in front 4-0.
Strange for a team scoring 68 points a game. Dakota not on the board yet halfway through. Just not able to get the ball inside.
Cameron Grant rattles one home. So Dakota now up on the scoreboard. They trail 4-2. Breaker goes hard to her right-hand side, pulls up, looking for the baseline drive. Missed shot followed up, and good.
And that's a basket Phil McCune's going to be upset about giving up. The size advantage, the rebound off the glass, Dakota has to have absolute control of that in this game. There's no reason not to, and they give up a weak offensive rebound. 3
different North players now have scored points. Dina Moyer banging around down low. And another empty possession there for the Cougars. Right on the doorstep, but nothing to show for it. North. Vinay, pull-up jumper, no good, long. Offensive rebound controlled by Borowski. Goes out with it, intercepted by Berger. Berger in transition, has numbers momentarily. Bounced the ball off the back heel of a North player. And Grosse Pointe North comes away with it. Meadow Vinay goes up strong with the right hand and blocked once again. Ella Berger getting it done defensively right now for the Cougars.
Yeah, great job to not give up on that play. Tracking Vinay down and not giving away just an easy layup. Could have got lazy, could have just gave up the easy possession, but got back defensively and keeping her Cougars in this game.
Hannah Davis checks in for Meadow Vinay. Brooke Davidson into the game now for Dakota, replaces Dina Moyer. So Coach McCune going with a little bit of a smaller lineup now. 3 guards on the floor for Dakota. Ralt at that wing, Breaker inside, gets double teamed. Nice bounce pass inside. We have a traveling violation against Sophia Borowski.
You know, the center, Dina Moyer, takes a seat. Dakota still with the advantage inside with Grant. There she is able to move defensively inside that zone once again and force another turnover just by beating the offensive player to the stop. What a move.
Yeah, Dakota has those 2 players over 6 foot tall. Cameron Grant listed at 6'1", Dina Moyer 6'2". So when one goes to the bench, they still have such a sizable advantage inside. Berger going to trigger things right in front of us. Jamie Mashenko catches the inbound pass, feeds it inside to Cameron Grant, who automatically draws that double team. Passed off to Mia Townsell. Talented sophomore is Townsell.
Gary Bennett getting into that coaching chess match early, sending the automatic double team to Cam Grant, and she's able to pass out of it like a pro.
And they're going to get Cameron Grant there for an offensive foul.
And again, caught that ball inbounds, but was splitting a double team, just really know where to go. The Norsemen were all over her. The referee, thought he saw enough for the offensive foul.
So we mentioned that this is the kickoff, the opening game of the MAC Red season, and really it should be what most would consider a wide open race within the MAC Red. You have both Grosse Pointe schools, South and North. Obviously, this is a very difficult league to win. Dakota should be in the mix for sure. The other 3 schools involved in MAC Red play this year will be Eisenhower, Cousino, and Port Huron Northern. And everyone remembers that magical run that Cousino went on a few seasons ago, winning the state title, and really arguably the toughest conference, not only in Macomb, but maybe in the entire state of Michigan.
You know, with the MAC Red, it seems like sport after sport, boys, girl, doesn't matter. We're always having the conversation. The MAC Red, across the board, is always going to be one of your top conferences in the state, regardless of what sport we're talking about. And statewide right now, a lot of eyes on Dakota, a lot of eyes. They're number 11 and the top 20 from the Detroit Free Press right now, the only Macomb County team to crack that top 20 early on.
Grosse Pointe North you mentioned went a perfect 10-0 a season ago within the MAC Red, and just kind of unheard of to have a perfect season in the MAC Red, but credit to the Norsemen a season ago. It's going to be hard to duplicate with all those graduating seniors from a season ago.
Head coach Gary Bennett of the Norsemen has been around the block a few times. Seems like he's been the coach there forever, equally with Phil McCune on the opposite side.
Turnover there, Ella Berger caught her own miss. Was looking to whip a pass out to Jamie Mashenko, but it went wide and out of bounds. So some unforced errors right now for Dakota. They find themselves trailing 6-2, 1:54 remaining in the opening quarter of play. And that miss off the front edge. Elizabeth Siciliano into the game now for North, wears 24 in green. And Ella Berger cleaning up the miss. Pinball is out. Cameron Grant goes up and under, gets fouled, will shoot two.
Good take for Cam Grant. Just absolutely relentless once she gets inside the painted area. And there's, you see her work and be able to earn two at the stripe the easy way.
Grant's first is good. Carly Moran will replace Ella Berger in the lineup right now for Dakota. So Grant makes both. She has all 4 Cougar points. They trail 6-4, minute and a half remaining in the first quarter of play. Kohler walks over to the timeline. She's being harassed by Jamie Mashenko. Kohler crosses over, goes strong to her left, dropped one off. The Siciliano, the sophomore. Man, what a young roster Grosse Pointe North has this season.
Yeah, when you move on a season ago, having 8 seniors, it becomes difficult. And you look for, when you only have 2 seniors on your roster, and that's in Hannah Davis and Christina Breaker, you really look to them, especially in a season like this, for leadership. And then you also have to expect juniors like Maddie Kohler to step up.
Yeah, you said it. 2 seniors, only 4 juniors, Adam. So only 6 upperclassmen on this roster.
Well, you know, they will have the growing pains this season, but you move on, you graduate 2 senior starters, but you have a very young nucleus where your juniors and seniors can grow with your freshmen, and you got freshmen getting good minutes up here at the varsity level. So there may be some growing pains, but that's nothing new for Grosse Pointe. Just got to build up on the program, and allows a good opportunity to do so, while also allowing a good opportunity for a successful season this year.
Really is a small roster, only 11 players, and Grosse Pointe North also has an injured player, Jordan Solomon. Didn't dress tonight, so you're down to 10 healthy bodies. So depth becomes an issue. We know the Cougars can roll 10 or 11 deep and not really see much of a drop-off. Hannah Davis has it now between the circles. Retreats momentarily, going to have to go forward with it. She does. Carly Moran, her defender. You can just tell Grosse Pointe North is just being very patient on their offensive end. They're not going to take anything unless it's wide open. And pulling the trigger that time was Hannah Davis.
And again, you see Dakota's MO on defense. They're not going to let you in the point. So there you get a wide open 3 in the corner, and the player hits it.
4 different scorers now have factored in for Grosse Pointe North. Jump ball and Grosse Pointe North basketball. So 1 and done there for Dakota with 12 seconds left to go in the first quarter of play. A little bit of a shocker, perhaps. You can hear Coach Gary Bennett instructing his girls. They got plenty of time, but now they're going to have to go with the step through. Kohler has her shot blocked. And that will do it for 1 quarter of play. Grosse Pointe North has come in and taken hold of the lead. They lead it after 1 quarter of play, 9-4. Take a quick break here, Macomb Township. When we come back, second quarter of play.
Hi, I'm Jordan Peele. I'm usually trying way too hard to be funny. Well, right now I'm going to be completely serious with you. Online bullying is a toxic side effect of modern technology. No one's immune to it. Not you, not me, nobody. But there's a way we can fix it. This emoji in the symbol section of your phone's emoji keyboard. Use it when you see bullying online to say, I see what you're doing, not cool, definitely not funny. And I know what funny is. I coined the phrase wordness to the turdness. So join me and become a witness. When you see bullying online, use this emoji to do something. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org.
Nearly set to go, second quarter of play from Dakota High School. Brad Fetters alongside Adam Abraham. Macomb Township Government Access, and Grosse Pointe North has come in and taken hold of the 9-4 lead, and they're getting it done on the defensive end. Adam, and this is a team that only gives up 31 points per game.
Yeah, leading the MAC in defense into a top offensive. This Dakota team just absolutely impressive. Right now it's neutralizing Cam Grant down in the low. There's nothing going down there in the post.
Cam Grant has all 4 of the Dakota points, so they're going to have to find some secondary scoring from somewhere. As North has done a nice job of distributing the basketball. 4 different scorers for Grosse Pointe North in the ball game so far through a quarter of play. And really, it's an offense that just stalls things out. No shot clock, obviously, in the game of basketball in Michigan. And just wide open looks, breaking down the zone defense, but unable to finish that time. Borowski comes up empty. Grant gets knocked into, and easy call to make.
You know, there's no doubt about it. Grosse Pointe North, the underdog coming into this Dakota gym, but it's a game up for anybody. But to be able to close this out here moving forward, you got to make those easy layups down on the other side. You find something that wide open, that's the 3rd missed layup they've already had this game. You cannot leave points on the board, off the board.
Shenko catching in the backcourt.
We'll see what Dakota decides to go with here. Cam Grant drawing that double team the last couple possessions.
It's Ella Berger this time, the talented sophomore. She had multiple 20-plus point games a season ago, so she is definitely an offensive threat for Coach McCune. So maybe that's where they get some of that secondary scoring.
And she's out there with the energy. 3 blocks early on for her already as well. Getting it done on both ends. But there you saw the last possession. She used Cam Grant. It's pretty much a screen. That double team got crossed, and it opened up a backdoor layup for her.
Ayrault goes to her right. Breaker 3 on the way. In and out. Outlet pass. Up ahead to Ella Berger. Going to cruise on him.
Hannah Davis, the senior guard, tried to pick that one off in the middle of the court, but just overran it a little bit, went over her head and left an easy open layup for Berger, who cashed in. Dakota closes the gap.
9-8 now, the Grosse Pointe lead.
That's how quickly this Cougar team can jump on top of you.
Borowski being guarded by Grant, pulls up. Goes to Kohler. Kohler. Cougar faithful making some noise. Tamia Townsville, nice job defensively. 5:37 left to go, first half of play. So glad you decided to tune us in here tonight. Last sports broadcast of 2019. Another takeaway by the Cougars. So Dakota giving Grosse Pointe North a little taste of their own medicine.
Definitely getting it done now, Dakota is defensively. As I mentioned off the top, those defensive stands usually turn into offensive points.
So bonus basketball now, 7th team foul in Grosse Pointe North.
Dakota does not leave points at the stripe, a very good free throw shooting team.
Jennifer Zaprawa at the line. makes the first, earns the second. Zaprawa really giving Cougars a nice lift off the bench here in the second quarter. She threw that outlet pass, if you remember, to Ella Berger. Split at the line. Townsville comes up with the offensive rebound, and there's a travel. Shenko picked up that pivot foot.
Easy call for the baseline official. Now, this is a situation for the Cougars. You face a little adversity, and that Cam Grant isn't getting her looks, drawing the double teams. Sometimes that's a weird place for a team to be, and trying to develop a second scorer. You're used to your all-star player being an all-star, but it's a chance for them to develop a second role.
So the Cougars really had that long stretch of basketball in the first quarter where they didn't score, and now Grosse Pointe North, through 3 minutes here in the second quarter, have yet to find the bottom of the bucket. And right on cue, Hannah Davis, her second triple of the night.
Same spot as the last one as well, found her wide open again. You know, this in and out basketball nonstop for Grosse Pointe North, they're eventually finding holes.
Zaprawa again. So the 5'10 junior really giving Coach McCune some valuable minutes here with Dina Moyer on the bench. Nice answer offensively for the Cougars. Nice little backdoor cut. Looking for the cutter there once again. And it's just some old school basketball being played by Grosse Pointe North.
Grosse Pointe North, not a super quick team, not running at a crazy pace, but what they are doing they're making tactical, intentional passes every single time. There you saw two very good passes, no dribbles put on the floor, and almost got a backdoor layup wide open.
Looking for Cameron Grant there on the little pick and roll. She follows up her miss with another miss. Tracking down that rebound. Jamie Mashenko trapped in the corner. Coach McCune pleading for a timeout. Did he get one? He sure did. Nice heads up coaching clinic there done by Coach Phil McCune. So Dakota outscoring Grosse Pointe North here in the second quarter, 7-3, as they've inched themselves back into this basketball game. 3:58 remaining in the first half. North on top, 12-11.
And these points really are being led by the turnovers from the Grosse Pointe North on the offensive end. Cougars turning that defense into offense. A couple easy buckets on the other end from Berger and Zaprawa.
Really get the sense that Grosse Pointe North really just wants to play in their own offensive end, just a half-court style of basketball. They're not really a team that's going to get out in transition and run you up and down the floor. And limiting their turnovers is going to be key here tonight if they want to continue to win this basketball game and pull the upset. Mashenko catches, goes immediately to the free throw line. Floater is good. Nothing but net there for Jamie Mashenko. First lead of the night now for the Cougars.
Veteran move by the junior point guard to just come off the screen, got a wide open look, 15 foot from the elbow. That's a good high quality possession.
Meadow Vinay pulls up right on the MAC logo. Instead we'll go to Kohler. Nice little play there. She can't finish. Mashenko comes down with the defensive rebound. Up ahead now to Berger. Berger puts on the brakes, finds cutting Cameron Grant. Grant around a couple defenders. Jumper hits the very top of the backboard. That might even hit the stanchion there. That should have been maybe out of bounds.
I think Coach Phil McCune is much happier with that pace that time for the Cougars, saying, let's go, there we go on the last possession. Quick, crisp passes that found them a wide open 12-foot baseline jumper. They just couldn't convert on that one, but it's a good look.
Brooke Davidson into the game now for Dakota. She will give Tamia Townsville a rest. Easy travel call there. Meadow Vinay dribbled herself into a double team. And you wonder if this Grosse Pointe North offense in these half-court sets is becoming a little bit predictable.
I was just going to say the same thing. It's that same guard cross on the play, Coach McCune sent a double team out to intercept him right there and literally walked him right into a travel call.
Dakota rings it around the perimeter.
Ooh.
Cameron Grant,
Oh.
if she can add that to her game, look out.
How about a step-back jumper three-pointer from the wing? What a shot from the senior. And then getting it done defensively.
Grant, she's a good ball handler. Crosses over her defender. Throws one to the outside, gets it right back on the give and go. Bounce pass to Berger, telegraphed it. Aralt going the other way for the easy steal and score.
There's a rare mistake on that end from Cam Grant. Just a good read defensively by Aralt.
A much more entertaining brand of basketball here in the second quarter of play. Mashenko with the basketball, held up over her head, gets a screen, finds Berger. Ball bounces off of a foot, corralled there by Davidson. They're going to feed Grant inside. Grant rips through a double team. Grant now with 9 first half points. Half of Dakota's points here.
Another double team on that last possession for Grant, but Breaker came to the wrong side and left a wide open lane. One pivot, and Grant had a wide open layup. If you're Breaker, you got to protect the basket, not come out as if you're coming for a steal, but you don't have your hands out for it.
Aralt traveled. She picked up her dribble. That was part of the problem, and then she shuffled that pivot foot. A couple fresh Cougars on the floor. Marissa Toko and Hannah Toutant into the game.
That's another coach-designed turnover. That's man pressure at half court. You're sending it in a very specific spot in a specific situation, and that's 2 straight.
Mashenko 3 off the back heel. That would have got this crowd up on their feet. Cougars out in front by 4 points now. They've scratched and clawed themselves back into this basketball game and will look to take a halftime lead into the locker room. Got a foul on the floor. Just the 6th team foul on the Cougars, so they're last to give. 55 seconds remaining here in the second quarter of play. Angela Petrovic into the game, 5'5" sophomore, wears 20 in white. Catching the inbound pass. Kohler, she's been quiet here in the second quarter of play. No points. Nice drop-off pass, and once again, unable to finish. Sophia Borowski. So the Norsemen have had their chances, especially down low.
How about that pass, though, to find that wide open?
Nice rebound by Breaker, up ahead. Kohler, tic-tac-toe passing. That's exactly how you draw it up. And it's going to be Medovane that finishes. So we'll see here if the Cougars hold for one final shot. They lead it 18-16. A dozen seconds remaining up on the big board. Grant goes to her right-hand side. Gets cut off, double team, passes out of it. Davidson over to Petrovic. 3 on the way, bang!
How about a pretty half-court set to send the Cougars off into halftime in the locker room?
Petrovic beats the buzzer, and a much better quarter of play for Dakota as they eventually outscore Grosse Pointe North 17-7. Adam, your thoughts on the first half of play?
Wow, Dakota just made the adjustments defensively, and it got them answers on the offensive end.
Cougars lead at 21-16. We'll take a break here on Macomb Township Government Access. But when we come back, the second half of play.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Macomb County, 27 cities, townships, and villages. From East Point to Memphis, Romeo to New Baltimore. 458 square miles of where you want to be. It's a place where your children can grow, and so can your business. Macomb County's tree-lined borders contain over 12,000 acres of parkland. Its outer edge, 31 miles of freshwater shoreline, both filled each year with countless concerts, festivals, and family reunions. It's the birthplace of advanced technologies that not only instruct future generations, but protect them. Hey, and those are just facts. You can get that from the internet or a book. No. To truly understand what Macomb County is all about, you need to experience it. You need to live here. You need to work here. When you do that, you'll know you're home.
Two teams have come out of the locker room for the third quarter of play. Dakota Cougars out in front 21-16 over Grosse Pointe North. Brad Fetters alongside my broadcast partner Adam Abraham. It'll be Grosse Pointe North basketball here to start things off the second half of play. Really a nice answer by Dakota after falling down early.
I'm excited to see on the opposite side, though, what Coach Bennett is drawing up offensively as Coach McCune started to play that coach's chess match with them, figuring out what they were doing in the offensive sets, see what kind of adjustments the Norsemen have made at halftime.
Kohler. And a takeaway by Berger going the other way. Berger drop pass. Terrific unselfish play there to Mia Townsell. And another steal. Cougars getting involved defensively. Much more aggressive style of play out of Dakota after a little bit of a clunker in the first quarter of play.
Madeline Kohler, who is pretty much the leader of this Norseman team, telling everybody after that last jump ball, calm down, calm down.
Cameron Grant, oh, money.
One on the floor, find yourself wide open and knock down a three. Cam Grant showing why she's one of the best in the conference.
Looking for the answer now. Ring that one up. Medal Vinay. Some back and forth teams trading buckets. Grant with 12. Looking for back-to-back triples. No good. Offensive rebound. Cleaned up by Dina Moyer.
Not sure how Moyer got that wide open below to be able to pull down that offensive rebound. That ball just went off glass. The same exact play, the same exact shot for Cam Grant, but Moyer wide open. Three Norsemen looking outside at the three-point. Moyer's the only one looking up at the net, trying to pull that ball down. Easy two for her.
Nice little answer out of the halftime break here for Dakota. Outscoring Grosse Pointe 7-3. 6:33 remaining in the third. Dakota continuing to look for that hot start. They've started out 3-0, looking to make some noise in the MAC Red this season. Tough season a year ago. They did lose the service of Cameron Grant about halfway through last year, and that really put a damper on the season a season ago.
Yeah, when you lose your leader early on or mid-season like that, you kind of got to redevelop your roles that you've been working on so hard throughout the season, kind of your game plan for what you projected through the end. When you get a wrench thrown in like that, it's not easy to adjust, especially at this level.
Impossible to replace that production. Grant was averaging 20 and 15 before she went out last year. Kohler gonna have to get going. 2 points, all in the first quarter, so nothing since. And another turnover. They're starting to pile up now for the Norsemen. Ella Berger pulls up. Berger drives to the hoop, gets swatted. Big block shot. Christina Breaker, And Sophia Borowski, 2 players down low for Grosse Pointe North that came away with that block shot. Berger hit the deck, appears to be okay. She catches the inbound pass, goes right back to Grant. Can't get it to fall, however. Second team foul now on Dakota. 5:55 remaining, third quarter of play. 28-19, Dakota out in front. Arolt missed the mark. Offensive rebound, Grosse Pointe North. Really undersized, but still coming up with some of these offensive rebounds.
Yeah, they're a scrappy team that's positioned very well. Really, it's all the positioning. They know where to go. Very, very well coached. What they lack in size, they have in smart.
So it'll be Madeline Kohler to trigger things in directly underneath her bucket. Gonna have to get this one in quickly. Arolt has it, hands off to Kohler. Kohler drives to her left, goes inside, was looking to go up and under, and Cameron Grant had other plans for that basketball. And another takeaway. Teams trading turnovers now, and got tie up right at the half-court line, and oh boy, physical play really amping up now. Breaker, the last person back, can't get it to go. Unforced errors. Some sloppy basketball now. Hands on the heads, arms out. Coach McCoon can't believe it. Just need to slow things down. Both teams helter-skelter out there. And now a traveling violation.
And that's just a tough go about it. When you get into a game situation like that, and you're the Norseman and you have that ball down, finally get into your half of the court, get it to your point guard, take a second, reset the offense. That's the reason Coach Bennett just pulled out Vinay over on the bench, talking to Coach Bennett right now about that situation. It's like, this was going on, that ball's got to go back to the point guard.
Another tie-up, possession arrow favoring the Cougars this time. The old-fashioned arrow on the scorer's bench over there.
Covering the electronic one.
Yeah, it appears that not all the scoreboards here at Dakota are functioning properly. Usually keep track of player points and have advertisements running under the scorer's table, and none of that's working. Well, somebody's going to have a job during the holiday break to get that working again. Somebody call an electrician.
Definitely not in mid-season form.
Well, one player that is Cameron Grant. 13 points, game high for her. Good rotation on that freebie. Connects on both, 14 points now. We talked about it throughout this game that she's always kind of been hovering around the halfway production point for Dakota. Lead swells up now to 11. 3 on the way, really need it. Short. Cameron Grant comes down with it, looking to go up ahead. Mashenko catches, eyes to the 3. Short, no good. Battle for that loose ball, tracked down momentarily by Grant. But last touch off the Cougars.
I think one of the most impressive intangibles I've seen of Cameron Grant tonight is her ability, anytime there's a ball around, immediately secured and on the floor, moving the other way. She doesn't take any time, any hesitation on the defensive end.
Here comes Berger up ahead of everybody. She wins the race and scores. Coach Bennett needs a timeout. They're getting raced out of the gym right now. 11-3 scoring burst here to start the third quarter of play. Has the Cougars out in front 32-19.
And what Ella Berger, she's doing very good job on the offensive end, but probably the toughest assignment defensively is she's been on Maddie Kohler all night, holding her to just a handful of points for the starting point guard for Grosse Pointe North. That's really the key to the success here. Is you take away the point guard, you take away the facilitator of an offense, you're going to send them into disarray, and that's really, since the first quarter, what these half-court offense has been for Grosse Pointe North. haven't been able to get anything easy.
If you missed any portion of this ball game, or if you want to check out the season preview show featuring some of the captains and head coach Phil McCune, you can. Macomb-mi.gov, or go to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the Macomb Township Government Access page. You'll get updates when all of our programming is available online. Good way to keep track of the Dakota Cougars all season long, not only in the sport of girls basketball, but the boys team as well, who should be competing for a MAC Red crown. So you could have dual MAC Red championships out of one school this year. Hannah Davis, she heated up in that first half. She knocked down a couple triples. They'll see if perhaps Grosse Pointe North can get her going here, as they are in desperate need of some instant offense, trailing by 13 points.
You know, in the second quarter, we saw a couple quick ISO half-court traps that got a couple turnovers on the Norsemen. Coach McCune has pretty much eliminated this backdoor offense Grosse Pointe North tries to run. They try to find that undercut underneath the net for an easy layup on the weak side, and it's not there anymore. Coach McCune has assigned someone in this zone defense to that position and has completely taken away two big components of this Norseman offense. See, it's not there.
They have to go all the way out to Madeline Kohler, who catches out near that Cougar logo at midcourt. Aralt right back to Kohler. Kohler has it over to the wing. Picking up the dribble. Breaker has that high bounce pass. She's able to bring it down, however. Hannah Davis, who we just mentioned, is a good three-point shooter, and she got held right in front of the scorer's table. An easy call for the official on that far side.
Cougars move it into more of a 1-3-1 zone, and Cam Grant is at the center on the stripe of this defense right now as they move. Now moves out to trap on the wing.
Blocking call coming up. It's a dangerous drive along that baseline. So the defender has the opportunity to set her feet, and you also can use that baseline as a sixth defensive player. And Aralt has been the Norseman that's been involved in that little baseline drive. Moyer thought she was established, but she gets called for the foul. Fourth one on Dakota. And a little hesitation ball fake that time out of Kohler. Now she gets herself into a little bit of a double team. So dribbling into trouble, it's kind of been the MO here for the Norsemen throughout this game. Aralt's three is no good. Breaker tried to come down with the offensive rebound, but it'll be Townsell that controls it instead. And Coach McCune gonna take a 30-second timeout to talk things over. Very animated discussion right now out of Coach McCune to his 5 on the floor. 2:52 remaining here in the third frame. Cougars still out in front, 32-19. We've kind of been locked in on this score for quite some time.
Yeah, both teams kind of starting to wear down offensively. These defenses, they're both stout today, doing an excellent job reacting and answering the offenses of each of the teams.
As we mentioned, Grosse Pointe North comes in with that 4-1 record, got off to a perfect 4-0 start with wins over River Rouge, Waterford, Our Lady of the Lakes, Utica, and Sterling Heights Stevenson. And they dropped their only contest of the season a couple nights ago, a 47-35 loss to Dearborn Divine Child. So Grosse Pointe North will play in a holiday tournament. Opponent still to be determined before returning to division play after the break, taking on Utica Eisenhower at home before taking on rival Grosse Pointe South on the road. So the girls' schedule about a week ahead of the boys, so that's why they're already playing conference games. As Dina Moyer knocks down the jumper. Boys won't start league play until after the break. Awalt just stepped over the timeline and got called for a backcourt violation.
And there you see just that's a freshman playing at a varsity level mistake, just losing sense of where you're at. Coach Bennett has talked before about the mental toughness of this squad, and he thinks his squad is lacking the mental toughness. Right there, you get lazy and you forget where you're at in a senseless turnover.
So Dakota has outscored GPN 13-3 in this third quarter, and looking to add on some more points are the Cougars, and going up with that miss. Ella Berger got fouled. She'll go to the charity line. So we've talked throughout this game of the depth that the Dakota Cougars have. 7 different scorers here tonight. Berger now with 7 points.
It certainly helps when you have when you can go 10 deep on your bench, especially when you get a situation where you're starting to get into 16, 18, 20-point leads.
So Berger splits, but Cameron Grant comes down with the offensive rebound, keeping this possession alive for the Cougars. She picks up her dribble. Breaker applying some defense. Berger able to dribble out of trouble, has her shot altered there, and Breaker comes away with the block. Kohler in transition. She's going to slow things down. She yo-yos the basketball. Over to Aralt. Aralt on the wing. Back now to Kohler. A little two-man ball now being played between Aralt and Kohler. Find Davis right in front of the GPN bench. And eventually, this possession's got to go towards the basket. And right now, the basketball is stuck for Grosse Pointe North. Good switch there by the Cougars defensively. Swarming defense by the Cougars. The intensity of the gym begins to pick up as they reward Dakota for the defensive effort. Aralt to Breaker. Nothing easy right now for North. Moyer rips down the board.
Great defensive stand from the Cougars. Switched it up from that 1-3-1, moved into a 2-3 zone, absolutely ate up the Norsemen. Didn't know where they were at offensively.
Mashenko, beautiful pass inside of Moyer. Couldn't connect. Breaker now up ahead, looking for a trailing teammate. Used a free arm to push off, but the foul will be on the floor against Ella Berger.
A little bit of desperation that time. Breaker seemed very aggressive, a little out of control there, going to the net, going 1-on-2. What a defensive stand that last time down from the Cougars. Really ramping it up. Offense has been slow today, but what they lack in offense, they're picking up in defense.
So that three-point attempt hits off the high glass. Now we got a hold called against Dakota. 6-team foul, so Grosse Pointe North will be shooting free throws the rest of this game. Now, check that. The foul call went against Grosse Pointe North. So Dakota will remain at 5-team fouls. That was the 3rd team foul on Grosse Pointe North. Aralt comes away with the steal. Up ahead. Davis. Cross-court pass. Skip pass to Aralt. Looking to go inside, telegraphed it, intercepted. Here comes the Cougars, gonna have to beat the buzzer. No good. 3 quarters in the books. Total team effort, especially on the defensive side in that 3rd quarter, as the Cougars out in front, 35-19. One final break here on Macomb Township Government Access. But when we come back, the 4th and final quarter of play.
I'll be right back.
Hi. You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Welcome back to Dakota High School. Cougars have taken the floor, waiting for Grosse Pointe North to break their huddle. Really an outstanding third quarter of play as Dakota answers the bell and outscores Grosse Pointe North 14-3. And for Dakota, they're well off that season average of 60 points, but they've really gotten the job done here.
And this is really the best defensive team they're going to see in the MAC Red. Despite being young, this is a very good Grosse Pointe North team. But what's important about the lack of offense, they're picking up on the defensive end. You can't say it enough. And all these different sets and these zones that they're running, terrific.
And right on cue, that it was a terrific set. Out of the third quarter huddle, Sophia Borowski comes up with it, and Grosse Pointe now going to press. Going to have to create a little bit more chaos on the defensive side. Going to have to turn over Dakota. Big uphill climb down 14 points. Cameron Grant spins through. That contact was made, and you could hear it all the way up here. We're high above the court level, but still hear it all the way up here. And they're going to say the foul was on the floor, so no shots for Grant. Coach McCune pleaded his case. Some of the Cougar fans in attendance playing amateur referee as well. Not quite sure of that call.
I think they got that call right.
Grant goes right back up with it, so strong off the short end and corralled once again by the Cougars. So second, third, fourth chance opportunities, 15-footers good.
That knockdown game from Grant is deadly. Obviously can go to work down in the low post, but being able to step out to the wing, making you that kind of dual threat offensive player is just outstanding.
Grant worked her way through a screen to alter that shot. Mashenko looks for a trailer. That's Cameron Grant. She eyed the three, turned it down, instead will drive.
Absolutely shook Maddie Kohler going to the net. Got her looking left, caught her flat-footed. Terrific move. How about Grant being able to get from the three-point line to the rack, 3 steps, good to go. Fantastic move.
9 points in the second half for Cameron Grant, gives her a game high 18 points. And there's a look at the student section here tonight as they gear up for their last full day of school before the holiday break. They're awfully small but mighty tonight. They're making some noise on that far baseline. Got the big head out. Student sections are far more creative than when I went to school.
Yeah, I don't think we had any fatheads back in old Lance Cruz days.
We would just bring newspapers when the other team was, their starters were announced. We'd put the newspapers up. We were too busy to even acknowledge the starters from the other team. I think we pulled that trick from the Cameron Crazies, and today the kids don't even know what a newspaper is.
I think when I was in high school, we were playing around with the LeBron James baby powder during the intros over in the student section. And let me tell you, home athletic directors don't take too kindly when you're throwing baby powder all over their bleachers.
Makes a little bit of a mess.
A little bit of a mess. A lot of fun.
I'm sure you were very responsible high school students and cleaned up after yourselves.
Absolutely.
Don't want to leave that for the custodian. 39-21, Cougars out in front. And really, ever since that lackluster performance in the first quarter of play, they have put the gas pedal to the floor and really have been out front and racing. Brooke Davidson thought about it. Why not? Might as well get her involved in the offense. 5'6" junior. And Madeline Kohler, you mentioned one of the top players for Grosse Pointe North. She's been quiet here tonight. And really credit Dakota. They've limited her offensively. She just has 2 points. Has a basketball now. Will explore the lane. couldn't get anything to go. Cameron Grant comes down with it, and she's got to be really close now to a double-double if she doesn't already have it. Ella Berger's jumper no good. Townsville, she's been active on the glass tonight for the Cougars. So a 1-1 now for Grosse Pointe North after the foul.
Better adjustment from the Norsemen on that last half court set. When you're facing that 2-3 zone, really where you're trying to get that ball is on that baseline in that short corner. That'll really make the defense collapse down on you and open up the wings. You just keep working that in-out game. Last couple possessions before that very last one, it was really just work inside and turn the ball over. That time they were actually able to kick the ball back out, and that's where you saw the much better rotation offensively from Grosse Pointe North.
Ayrault knocks down the first, earns a second. Front half of the 1-1.
When you talk about beating the zone defense, it's really all about the accuracy of the passes. Where are you passing the ball? You got to get into that weak spots of the zone. Every zone's got a couple blind spots.
So we had a lane violation there, so Ayrault will have a second chance, a mulligan. Usually only get those on the first tee. She makes good. Yeah, so you talk about some weak spots in the zone defense. Oftentimes, you kind of want to go to the wings, right? Kind of the blocks. Step or two outside the paint.
A lot of ways you'll see coaches as well. They'll work out of they really have their center work out of the free throw stripe. But with Cam Grant defending that middle position in that zone, you can't operate out of the free throw stripe because she's all over the ball defensively.
Yeah.
You're trying to keep it away from her, which changes the way you attack that defense.
All that length. She's a perfect defender for the inside of that.
The
really
length,
any zone, right?
The
1-3-1.
The quickness. She's quick. She's got that first step, quick hands. She reacts well, and she's incredibly aggressive.
So lead 16, 39-23, 4:52 remaining. Breaker needs that to go. Grosse Pointe North needs something on this end and can't get it. Behind the back play, now crossover dribble and a takeaway. North a little 2-on-1. Breaker swatted from behind by Grant.
Blocks a shot out of bounds and goes to get her own save. Cam Grant just out here trying to really doing as much as she can as her teammates evacuated the half court. She was left by herself to dribble out of that 2-on-1.
Ayrault cut off. Pass goes through the legs of Meadowvene. Out of bounds. 4:26 now left in regulation.
And one thing about being young for this Grosse Pointe North team is you hesitate a little sometimes. With this kind of defensive effort from the Cougars, you can't hesitate. There they passed up an open look on the far wing, and it resulted in a turnover.
Breaker beats everybody down the floor. And Grosse Pointe North will take a timeout with 4:12 left to go. And it will be a full timeout. So we mentioned the Cougars off to that perfect 3-0 mark. 59-47 win over Berkeley, that 59-31 victory over Romeo right here on Macomb Township. And they're coming off a 28-point win over Chippewa Valley. They'll have 2 more games during the holiday break against South Lyon East. That game will take place here at home before going on the road to take on Northville, and that's back-to-back. So that might actually be a tournament, Adam. Back-to-back nights would more than likely be a tournament situation for them. And then they come back in the new year with all those conference games. Couple of home games against Port Huron Northern and Warren Cousino, sandwiched between a game with Eisenhower on the road.
You know, those winter break tournament games, you get a taste of, you come in today, start to get a taste of MAC Red play, what it's going to be like, and then you're able to go play games where, in terms of winning the division, they don't matter. They're just overall records. Not in the grand scheme of things. You lose a couple to some really good teams at tournaments. Humbles your team a little bit if you're on the losing end. You pick up momentum if you're on the winning end. In the game, at the end of the day, the game, the final score doesn't really matter. So it's always a great decision.
Coach Gary Bennett excited on the Grosse Pointe North sideline as they come up with a turnover. 4:05 left to go.
Gary Bennett trying to inspire his girls over there. Just a tough game, trying to keep them mentally in check. You are down 14, but you have a chance with half the quarter to go.
Yeah.
Don't take yourself out of the game.
Crazier things have happened. Breaker, there's
There
a
you
kickball. Moyer kicked that ball out of bounds.
Two quick, short passes, just about open a layup underneath. It was deflected, so nothing going, but that's how you break that zone.
It's got to be difficult for a team like Grosse Pointe North to come back from these large deficits because they're not really a quick strike offense. They're very methodical and deliberate in what they do in the half-court sets.
Yeah, absolutely. They make their money on the defensive end. They like to control the game, so when teams get out ahead of them, it's a troublesome spot.
There's that little backdoor cut. Once again, the Princeton offense. Three on the way, short, off the high glass after bouncing off the side of the rim. Possession arrow will stay with Grosse Pointe North. So bad shooting night for Grosse Pointe North.
Outside of those couple knockdown threes in the corner, not really much going.
Yeah, Hannah Davis started to heat up momentarily in the first half. She knocked down a couple triples. Clean steal there. Biella Berger up ahead now to Cameron Grant. Grant, right-hand side, looks for Mashenko, finds her. Nice bounce pass out to Berger, who will hold momentarily. Let some of this time tick off the clock. Approaching the 3-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Berger had it knocked out of her hands momentarily. Takes a little push from behind. Breaker was a guilty party that time. So Berger will go to the line to shoot two. So apparently the refs are going to discuss whether this was a shooting foul, and from our vantage point, it looked clear as day that Berger was in the process of shooting.
Yeah. As long as you get the call right at the end, that's what matters. Referees came together, made the right call.
Berger's first, no good. And Berger, 7 points in this game, and looks like she's going to be replaced in the lineup by Brooke Davidson. Davidson seated in front of the scorer's table, so she will replace Berger after this freebie. Lead back up to 14, 2:59 left. 39-25. Breaker has it. Go around the perimeter. A little miscommunication that time as you had a cutter collide with the screener. Bad pass. Backcourt violation.
Townsville just came under pressure a little bit too much and just a little bit wide for Grant. See if we see any urgency out of this Grosse Pointe North offense.
That's Mashenko with the steal and the foul. tonight's the only MAC Red game being played. The other MAC Red games this week include Eisenhower taking on Cousino. Grosse Pointe South already defeated Port Huron Northern in league play. So Grosse Pointe South, North's arch rivals, have already gotten off to a perfect 1-0 start. As Dina Moyer gets the kind roll.
Cameron Grant's so good at really across the board, no matter what we're talking there. Splits a double team, but then passes it off to her teammate for an easy deuce. All around complete player, the total package Ball State's getting with Cameron Grant.
Little ticky-tack call there. We'll send Breaker to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. 8th team foul on Dakota. Senior captain with 4 points here tonight, looking to add on to that total. That's called bank.
Almost payday.
Yep. So makes good on both.
Grosse Pointe North moving to an all-out full-court press, man-to-man.
Grant's so good with the basketball in her hand. We'll hand off to Mashenko, who hands off to Berger. We'll weave down there. Ho-ho! Nice jumper by Tamia Townsell. Coach Bennett gonna take a timeout with 90 seconds remaining. (44-27) your lead for the Dakota Cougars. Both teams now with one timeout remaining. Can't take them with you. This will be a nice little victory here tonight to open up league play for Dakota. Prove their record to 4-0 overall, 1-0 in MAC Red play, and a couple weeks off, and then get right back into it after Christmas with that tournament. Cameron Grant, your leading scorer tonight, with 18 points.
A lot of takeaways from this game for Dakota. Definitely out of their pace of play this was, but they grinded it out. Rough in the first quarter for the Cougars, but they rebounded. Really went after it defensively, said, hey, the basketball's not going through the hoop today for us. Let's work on it defensively, try to open up some easy transition buckets. That's how they were able to get on top of the Norsemen.
So both teams using that timeout to sub in a lot of fresh bodies. We'll try to get as many of the subs in as possible. Angela Petrovich is into the game. Hedzik's into the game for Dakota as well. Marissa Toko, Cameron Grant, and Serena Plujai, your 5 on the floor for Dakota.
How about that for some senior leadership? Cameron Grant in the middle of that defensive, or excuse me, that substitution.
She's kind of directing traffic out there. She's like the air traffic controller, telling the underclassmen where they need to be on the floor. Maybe a conductor out there. So North going to continue to apply that pressure defense. Cougars able to pass out of it. Toko up ahead. Pelujai has it. Back to Toko. And I don't know. We'll see if the Cougars even put up a shot here. Cameron Grant will have it, being guarded by Breaker. Turns down the screen. Goes to her left. Picks up her dribble. Petrovich has it, goes between the legs, cradles the basketball in between the circles. It is not a backcourt violation because the pass was deflected. Grant catches it right in front of us. Back to Petrovich. And she loses the handle, and Bricker goes the other way with it, and one! 8.5 ticks left to go in regulation. Now let's see if Grosse Pointe North can get to 30 points.
That's really an important play for it's about the smaller things in basketball sometimes. Christina Breaker, a senior captain, not giving up on a play. Like you said, 8 ticks to go. Converts a three-point play the old-fashioned way.
So that's an and one, so no more freebies. Give Breaker 9 points for Grosse Pointe North in the losing effort. And the Cougars will just get this basketball in. They don't even have to get it to the front court, but they will. Up ahead, and that will do it. Very impressive victory here to open up a league play. Final score 44-30. Adam, your final thoughts here tonight.
Just an absolute grinded out tough win for the Cougars. That's why a lot of the major media outlets are projecting these Cougars to win the MAC Red and beat the Macomb area conference team to make a deep run. They saw it, they struggled on, but they were able to fight through the adversity and open up a pretty wide margin of a victory over the Norsemen.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of our viewers, my broadcast partner Adam Abraham. A very happy holidays and a happy new year. Our crew tonight was Jason Burton, Jason Radulski. For Adam Abraham, I'm Brad Fetter saying goodbye to 2019. We'll see you in 2020.